I wanted to make this video to warn other veterans. Uh, be very hesitant about your diabetic care at the VA. Even for diabetes care, apparently they're using ARUP Labs as well. They're the reference laboratory because they got a fat contract that Republicans helped them get from the Senate floor. This is a laboratory that I would bet at least their legal side is full of anti-government extremists like QAnon types, sovereign citizen, whatever, you name it. And their head scientist, I should say the chief medical officer or chief of the lab, Dr. G, he puts plenty of stuff in there that they have the right to monitor their own variables. They have a right to set their own levels, their own, reference ranges, everything. Basically, they're trying to summarize their court case against the FDA. What was that? I forget the date. It's in the past 10 years. They sued the FDA. And Republicans helped them get the contract for the VA. Evidently, not just autoimmune type related blood chemistry, but also diabetes related blood chemistry labs. As said before, this laboratory, they are not good for veterans. They do not put veterans' care as a priority. Their priority is protecting their protocols for their lab tests that they have developed, that are their proprietary, their trademark. That being said, nothing wrong with having business and having your own trademark, your own patent, your own protocol. But when your reference ranges for your laboratories, you set the standard yourself against what NIH and what CDC recommend. These are the academics for our country: CDC, NIH, PHS, Public Health Service. Basically what they're doing is thumbing their nose at a uniform service, the Public Health Service. They are a uniformed health service. And what ARUP Labs is doing is thumbing their nose at them, saying that, oh, we know better than you do. Now, I find it interesting that the military, DOD, side with NIH on everything. Matter of fact, NIH sets the standard for DOD when it comes to healthcare. Why does ARUP Laboratories in Utah think that they're better? I'll tell you why. Because they've got the right friends and they have their hands in the right friends' pockets. They were assigned the contract in 2020. Why? This was March or April of 2020 because President Biden had already been inaugurated and everybody knew that he was a military family and one of his sons got sick serving in Afghanistan. And everybody knew that the Biden administration and the people from their academic circles, their medical circles, their military circles had known too many people that came back from CENTCOM AOR sick, or within a couple of years were sick. So they were going to look into it. So Republicans tried to preempt the PACT Act. I want people to realize I'm neither Trump's worst critic or his best ally. But I will say this. I have completely left the Republican Party. Yeah, and they're probably add them to the list of people who have retaliated against my family. And I've done this because I see them slowly stabbing veterans in the back again and again and again. And they try to hide it from middle class and from working poor veterans. They hide these things from them. And they brainwash people thinking the Republican Party is the way to go. It's not. I used to be a conservative, and I was one of the conservatives that complained about this, complained about that. And I'm telling you, they are not. They are doing a disservice to our country, especially to veterans. Now, I'm not telling people to vote blue. I'm a libertarian. And, I won't be a card-carrying libertarian, but I will definitely bend over backwards their direction. because I think they stand for what is needed in this country more than the other two. But despite my disapproval and my disagreement with, you know, several things on the Democratic platform, and me being, I still believe in a certain amount of reservation, in regards to, certain things. Some things belong inside the home, and dramatics or allying with a group because of one issue. I don't think that's not me. And I won't vote Democrat just because I disagree with the Republican Party. But certainly, if the Republican Party keeps putting out these diehard conservatives like they have been, um, at least the past two or three past elections, um, I would vote Democrat. If I didn't have a viable libertarian candidate. But I hope in my lifetime, I will see the door being open to third parties. Third party candidates shouldn't have to choose red or blue. I think that we should open the door to third party candidates because America is a different country. And we were never meant to be a two-party system. Even in the beginning, you had the Tories, you had the Whigs, you had the Democratic Republicans. We were never meant to be a two-party system. That's been, I'm not going to go into the cultural reason why we've been pushed that way, but we've been pushed in that direction, and we have never even started in that direction. Actually, there's other parties besides the Tories, the Whigs, and the Democrats too. But the Democratic Republicans, I mean. But I just want to warn people because they're doing your labs for your diabetes too, and I think ARUP Labs, I think they're horrible. Some of their labs, they are so arrogant that they don't give you the raw data. They say, "Oh, you're above the reference range or below the reference range, so something is either mild or is not present or is negative." They don't even give you your raw data. That test was paid for by taxpayer money. We deserve the raw data, not somebody else controlling us in this new fascist VA. If my particular blood chemistry range is from 1 to 5, and I'm a 0.9990, I want to know because it matters. I don't want somebody else telling me because of the way that they perceive the range, it's insignificant. Because if I'm sitting on a medical fence with my health, when I have a family, it's my damn right.